Are there living dinosaurs in the world today? And would their existence disprove evolution? The field of cryptozoology, often associated with the search for hidden or unknown animals, has long captivated the human imagination. Among its most intriguing quests is the search for living dinosaurs. This pursuit is not merely a frivolous endeavor. It intersects with significant cultural, scientific, and ideological elements, particularly for some creationists who hope to leverage potential discoveries to challenge evolutionary theory. One of the most famous alleged living dinosaurs is the Mokele-Mbembe, reputed to inhabit the remote swamps of the Congo Basin. Descriptions of this creature vary, but it is often depicted as a large, herbivorous animal resembling a sauropod dinosaur with a long neck and tail. Local folklore and sporadic eyewitness accounts have fueled expeditions into the dense jungles of Africa, though none have yielded definitive proof of its existence. The legend of Mokele-Mbembe captures the allure of the unknown and the possibility that ancient creatures might still roam the earth, eluding modern science. The 1980 expedition that Dr. Roy P. Mackal, a biologist from the University of Chicago, led was one of the most notable attempts to demonstrate the existence of Mokele-Mbembe. Mackal, along with James Powell, ventured into the Congo Basin to investigate reports of a large, dinosaur-like creature. Although they did not find conclusive evidence, their interviews with local inhabitants and the collection of anecdotal accounts were presented as supporting the possibility of living dinosaurs. Mackal's book, A Living Dinosaur: In Search of Mokele-Mbembe, written by Mackal, summarizes their conclusions and reasoning. In Papua New Guinea, reports of the Ropen, a flying creature, have similarly intrigued cryptozoologists and creationists. Described as a large, bat-like animal with a wingspan reaching up to 20 feet, the Ropen is often compared to a pterosaur, a type of flying reptile from the Mesozoic era. Locals describe bioluminescent features, adding an eerie aspect to the sightings. Despite numerous expeditions and anecdotal evidence, no conclusive material evidence has been found to substantiate the claims of a living pterosaur. Creationist Carl Baugh, founder of the Creation Evidence Museum in Texas, has led several expeditions to Papua New Guinea in search of the Ropen. Baugh and his colleagues, including creationist explorer David Wetzel, have documented local testimonies and claimed sightings of the creature. They argue that the Ropen, described as a bioluminescent pterosaur-like animal, supports the notion that dinosaurs and humans coexisted. Their findings have been showcased in various creationist publications and documentaries. Another iconic creature often cited in discussions of living dinosaurs is the Loch Ness monster, or Nessie, from Scotland. First brought to global attention in the 1930s, Nessie is often depicted as a plesiosaur-like creature with a long neck and flippers. The deep, murky waters of Loch Ness provide a perfect setting for mysterious sightings and blurry photographs. Over the decades, numerous investigations, including sonar explorations and underwater photography, have failed to provide concrete evidence of such a creature. Nevertheless, Nessie remains a potent symbol in the world of cryptozoology. At least one creationist textbook in 2012 was arguing that the Loch Ness monster existing would disprove evolution. It noted, "Are dinosaurs alive today? Scientists are becoming more convinced of their existence. Have you heard of the Loch Ness monster?" In Scotland, Nessie for short has been recorded on sonar from a small submarine, described by eyewitnesses and photographed by others. Nessie appears to be a plesiosaur. End of quote. Creationists, particularly those advocating for a young Earth model, have a vested interest in these cryptid dinosaurs. They argue that the discovery of living dinosaurs would support their interpretation of the Bible, suggesting that humans and dinosaurs coexisted relatively recently. This, they claim, would undermine the conventional scientific timeline that places the extinction of non-avian dinosaurs around 65 million years ago and support their contention that the Earth is only thousands of years old. The Bible does not explicitly mention dinosaurs as we understand them today, largely because the texts were written long before the concept of dinosaurs was developed in the 19th century. However, some creationists interpret certain biblical passages as references to dinosaurs or dinosaur-like creatures. One of the most frequently cited examples is the behemoth described in the Book of Job, specifically in Job 40:15-24. The behemoth is depicted as a powerful, grass-eating creature with strong muscles and bones like bronze. Some creationists suggest that this description could align with a large, herbivorous dinosaur, such as a sauropod. Here is the passage. "Look at behemoth, which I made along with you, and which feeds on grass like an ox. What strength it has in its loins, what power in the muscles of its belly. Its tail sways like a cedar, the sinews of its thighs are close-knit. Its bones are tubes of bronze, its limbs like rods of iron. Job 40:15-18, NIV. Another creature mentioned in the Bible that some creationists associate with dinosaurs is Leviathan, described in Job 41, Psalm 74:14, and Isaiah 27:1. Leviathan is depicted as a large, sea-dwelling creature with formidable strength and fearsome features. Some interpret this as a reference to a large marine reptile, like a plesiosaur or a mosasaur. While these interpretations are intriguing, it's important to note that mainstream biblical scholarship and paleontology do not support the view that these passages describe dinosaurs. Instead, many academics think that Behemoth and Leviathan were most likely based on sizable animals that the ancient writers were familiar with, like the hippopotamus, elephant, or crocodile, and then embellished with mythical elements. The absence of explicit references to dinosaurs in the Bible is consistent with the understanding that the texts were written in a pre-scientific era, long before the discovery of dinosaur fossils and the development of paleontology. As such, while the Bible contains many rich and symbolic descriptions of animals and mythical creatures, it does not provide a scientific account of dinosaurs. However, the discovery of living dinosaurs, while extraordinary, would not disprove evolution. Evolutionary theory is built on a vast body of evidence from multiple disciplines, including genetics, paleontology, and comparative anatomy. Evolution explains the diversity of life through mechanisms such as natural selection, genetic drift, and mutation. The survival of a small population of dinosaurs into the present day would be an unexpected anomaly, but would not negate the overwhelming evidence for evolution. It would merely suggest that certain lineages, previously thought extinct, survived in isolated environments. Additionally, the principle of uniformitarianism in geology and biology posits that the same natural processes observed today have operated throughout Earth's history. This principle underlies much of our understanding of evolutionary processes. The existence of a living fossil or a surviving ancient species would be seen as an example of an organism that has undergone little morphological change over millions of years, not as evidence against evolution, but rather as a testament to the stability of certain ecological niches. The cryptozoological search for living dinosaurs intersects with deep human curiosities and significant ideological battles. While creationists hope that finding a living dinosaur would challenge evolutionary theory, the robust framework of evolution would remain intact. Such a discovery would be a remarkable addition to our understanding of life on Earth, illustrating the resilience and adaptability of life rather than refuting the well-established principles of evolution.